If you wanted to hear the king of the gods, you didn't go to Olympus. You went to a grove of oak trees at Dodona, in the mountains of northwest Greece, where priests listened to the wind in the leaves and the ring of bronze, and told you what the sky was saying. People did this for well over 1,000 years. This film is not about the myths, it's about the evidence. The word, the clay, the ash, the gold, and the mud. The real documented 3,000-year life of the most famous god in history, and the one thing history forgot to write down. Around 4,500 years ago, on the grasslands north of the Black Sea, herding people spoke a language that no one ever wrote down. We've rebuilt it anyway, by comparing its descendants. And in that reconstructed language is a word, Zeus, the bright daylight sky, addressed as a father. The proof is in the fingerprints it left. In Greece, the word became Zeus pater. In Italy, Jupiter. In the Sanskrit hymns of India, Deus Pitar, sky father. 3 languages, 3 continents worth of distance, 1 inherited prayer. Zeus is not a Greek invention. He is a Greek addition, which means the clock on this god starts long before Greece. Year 0 is a word in a herder's mouth. His first surviving appearance in writing is not a hymn. It's paperwork. In the ruins of the Bronze Age palaces at Knossos and Pylos, clerks kept accounts in a script called Linear B, undeciphered until 1952, when an English architect named Michael Ventris cracked it and found, between the wool tallies and chariot inventories, offerings recorded to Dwe, to Zeus, 14 centuries before Christ. Around 1200 BC, that entire world collapsed. The palaces burned, and with them, literacy itself. Greece forgot how to write for roughly 400 years. The god's name crossed that dark age with no ink, no play, no stone, just voices. When the lights come back on, Zeus is everywhere, and the evidence gets physical. On the summit of Mount Lycaon in Arcadia, excavators cut into an altar made of nothing but compacted ash. The residue of animal sacrifices burned on the same spot, layer upon layer, for more than a millennium. Material at the bottom may be older than the Greek language itself in Greece. Ancient writers whispered something darker about Lycaon, rumors of a rite no one would confirm. In 2016, excavators found a human burial inside the ash altar. What it means is genuinely unresolved. The archaeologists themselves urge caution. We flag it and leave it where the evidence stands. An open question on a mountaintop. And at Dodona, the oak oracle, which Homer already calls ancient, kept speaking. This is what worship looked like. Not marble yet. Wind, ash, and bronze. By tradition, in 776 BC, the Greeks began holding games in his honor at Olympia. Every 4 years, war or no war, for over 1,000 years. And around 435 BC, the sculptor Phidias, the man who had just finished the Parthenon's goddess, built Zeus a body. 12 meters of gold and ivory on a cedar throne, so large that ancient visitors joked that if the god stood up, he'd take the roof off. The ancients ranked it among the 7 wonders of the world. One Roman writer said that seeing it changed what a person believed. Phidias himself didn't get a happy ending. Accused by his enemies, embezzlement, impiety, the sources conflict on which and on whether he died in prison or in exile. The greatest religious artist of antiquity, taken down by an audit. Rome didn't end him. Rome promoted him, under his Italian name, Jupiter, the same old step word wearing a toga. What ended him was law. Between 391 and 393 AD, the Emperor Theodosius I issued decrees banning public sacrifice and closing the temples. We still have the orders, word for word, in the empire's legal code. By tradition, 393 AD saw the last ancient games at Olympia, though some evidence suggests they limped on quietly for another generation before stopping for 1,500 years. 3,000 years of the Sky Father, end it not by a rival god's army, but by an empire's paperwork. The same medium, notice, where his story began, an official record, stamped by a clerk. And the wonder of the world? Here is the astonishing part. Nobody reliably wrote down what happened to it. One late account, a single Byzantine chronicler, writing 6 centuries after the fact, says the statue was carted off to Constantinople and destroyed in a palace fire in 475 AD. The alternative, it never left Olympia, and died with the temple when earthquakes brought the columns down in the 6th century. A 12-meter mass of gold and ivory, and history just loses the receipt. Rivers silted over Olympia. The sanctuary disappeared under meters of earth. For over 1,000 years, nobody even knew exactly where it was, until surveyors relocated it in the 1760s, and full excavation began in 1875. And in the 1950s, in the mud of Phidias's own workshop, excavators found a small, cheap clay drinking cup. Scratched into the base, in 5th century letters, "I belong to Phidias." Think about the arithmetic of that. The 12 meters of gold, gone without a record. The disgraced workman's cup, intact after 2,400 years. Empires kept the gods' accounts for 3,000 years, and in the end, the only receipt that survived was his. You said his name today. You just did it again.